Hello! Welcome to Elm City's virtual summer series. This is week 2. On week 2, we're going to read about lighthouses at the beach. Are you ready? Let's go! Our first story today is called Hello Lighthouse, and it's by Sophie Blackall. On the highest rock of a tiny island at the edge of the world stands a lighthouse. It is built to last forever, sending its light out to sea, guiding the ships on their way. From dusk to dawn, the lighthouse beams. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, lighthouse. The new keeper arrives to replace the old, to carry on tending the light. He polishes the lens and refills the oil and trims the burned end of the wick. Throughout the night, he winds the clockwork that keeps the lamp in motion. During the day, he gives the round rooms a fresh coat of sea green paint. He writes in the logbook and threads his needle and listens to the gathering wind. The wind takes a deep breath and blows and blows. Hello, hello, hello. The keeper boils water and drinks his tea as he fishes for cod from the window. He sets the table and hums a tune and wishes for someone to talk to. Every few days he writes her a letter and throws it into the waves. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and waits for her reply. The sky grows dark and the waves rise and crash. Hello, hello, hello. The keeper looks through his telescope. The tender arrives, bringing oil and flour and pork and beans, and his wife. He shows her around the round rooms of their house. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and sets the table for 2. The fog makes everything disappear. A bell must be rung to warn the ships. Clang, clang, clang. One thick night, disaster strikes. A boat is wrecked on the rocks. Not a moment to lose, the keeper rows out. He pulls 3 sailors from the deep black sea. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and wraps the sailors in blankets. The sea turns into a carpet of ice. Hello, hello, hello. One dawn, the keeper begins to sneeze. By dusk, he is terribly ill. His wife is everywhere all at once, running up and down the spiral stairs. She tends the light and feeds him broth and chips ice off the lantern room windows. She sits by his side and writes in the logbook the minute his fever breaks. The icebergs pass by on their journey south. The whales pass by on their journey north. Hello, hello, hello. Inside the lighthouse, the woman walks around and around the room. Her husband boils water and helps her breathe in and out. He tends the light and writes in the logbook. And notes the birth of their child. The sky erupts in swirls of green. Hello, hello, hello. The tender arrives, bringing oil and flour and pork and beans and the mail. Along with fresh books and news from land, there's an unexpected letter with the Coast Guard seal. The keeper winds the clockwork and polishes the lens, just as he's always done. He tends the light and writes in the logbook, but he knows that it's not for long. Together they watch the horizon. The Coast Guard arrives with a brand new light and installs the machine to run it. No lamp to fill, no wick to trim, the keeper's work is done. He climbs to the top of the spiral stairs and closes the logbook for good. They pack their belongings into the boat and wave farewell to the gulls. Beyond the breakers, they all look up. Goodbye, lighthouse. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. On the highest rock of a tiny island at the edges of the world stands a lighthouse. It is built to last forever, sending its light out to sea. The fog rolls in, the fog rolls out. The waves rise and crash. The wind blows and blows. Hello, hello, hello? Over the waves across the bay, a light on the land beams back. Hello, 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 lighthouse. That story was Hello, Lighthouse. The next story is called Duck and Goose Go to the Beach by Tad Hills. Don't you just love it here, Duck? Goose honked. The two friends relaxed in the early morning sun. They listened to the hum of the meadow, butterflies flitted, and grass swished in the breeze. Yes, I do, Duck agreed. Let's never leave. Suddenly, Duck jumped up. You just gave me the greatest idea, Goose, he quacked. Let's leave. Let's go away. A what? Goose honked. Away. Let's take a trip. Goose gulped. A trip? A trip sounds far away. I like close. We could go on an adventure, Duck said. An adventure? That sounds scary, Goose honked. Come on, Goose. A hike might be fun. Duck quacked. A hike? Said Goose. That sounds like a fine way to twist your ankle. Duck sighed. He gazed around the meadow toward the distant hill and began walking. Goose followed. I will walk, but I will not hike, he grumbled. Why would anyone want to leave this meadow? Goose wondered aloud. It has everything right here, like this stump, like this hollow log, the gurgling stream, the lily pond, our ball, of course, and don't forget the shady thicket. Duck and Goose floated along a stream they'd never floated along before. They walked by a pile of stones they had never walked by before, and they passed the biggest tree they'd ever seen. They walked across fields and up and down hills. By the time Goose reached the top of the highest hill, Duck was already gazing off into the distance. What's that? He quacked. Could it be the beach? Goose honked. Duck's tail twitched with excitement. I'm pretty sure I love the beach. You've been to the beach? Asked Goose. Not yet, said Duck, and he took off down the hill. Follow me, Goose. We're going to the beach. Goose chased after Duck. But Duck, we already had our adventure, he called. Wait, he shouted. Slow down, he honked. But Duck did not slow down. Goose followed him through the brambles and the tall grass until finally Duck stopped. I think we have arrived at the beach, said Duck. Oh my, the beach is loud, yelled Duck over the sound of the waves. I can barely hear my own quack. Goose stared at the vast stretch of sky, sand, and sea. Isn't it magnificent, he said. Oh dear, the beach has so much water, said Duck. I feel tiny. Have you ever seen so much sand? Honked Goose. It's getting in my feathers and it's too hot on my feet, said Duck. Let's go. Go swimming? Good idea, Duck, said Goose, and he raced to the water's edge. No, Goose, wait for me. Duck dipped his hot feet in the water. Goose, you know these waves are very... These waves are very fun. Is that what you were going to say, Duck? Honked Goose. Not exactly. The two friends strolled along the beach. They met the locals. Some were friendly, others were not. Some were shy, others were not. Goose thought Duck might enjoy searching for sea creatures under the rocks and seaweed. He did not. Be careful, Goose. You don't know what's in there, Duck quacked. They built a drip castle, and they listened to the gentle roar of the ocean from deep within its shell. It made Duck homesick. It sounds just like our gurgling stream, he quacked. Later in the day, when the sand had cooled, the waves had settled, Duck and Goose relaxed. I like the smell of the beach, Goose said. Me too, Duck agreed, but not as much as the meadow. Well, there's no place like the meadow, honked Goose. That's very true, said Duck. So in the late afternoon, Duck and Goose followed their long shadows home. They talked about their exciting day and about the friends they'd met. They talked about the hot sand and the cool water, the noisy crashing waves and the quiet tidal pools. Back in the meadow at last, they watched the sunset. Birds sang and grass swished in the breeze. They both agreed that it was nice to be home. Duck, where should we go next? Goose asked. Duck closed his eyes. How about to sleep? This story was Duck and Goose Go to the Beach. Our next story is called The Race to the Beach by Anna Shuttlewood. One sunny day, the animals from the zoo decided to go to the beach. Peacock packed some sunscreen. Polar bear put on his sunglasses. Elephant inflated a beach ball. Kangaroo found a kite. Leopard had heard some rumors about a train that traveled to the sea. So the animals made their way to the station, and there it was. A lovely, shiny, bright red train was waiting on the platform. Warthog climbed aboard. Anteater hurried to her seat. Rhino settled back to enjoy the ride. Soon the zoo animals were on their way. Before they knew it, the wide blue sea was in front of them. The happy animals spread out on the warm seaside sand. Fox looked for lost treasures. Zebra munched on a juicy watermelon. Tiger dozed in the summer sun, and Crocodile built a sandcastle. The day wore on as the sun rose high. The zoo animals started to get a little bored. Then Seal had an idea. I know, let's have a race, she said. From the seashore to the water. Whoever can swim the farthest out wins. Everyone thought this sounded like a great idea, and of course everyone wanted to win. Cool, I could swim fast if I want to. Of course I will win. But Giraffe didn't seem interested in the seaside race. In fact, Giraffe didn't seem interested in the sea at all. Maybe giraffes are afraid of water, said Duck. Maybe his spots will wash away, said Hedgehog. Maybe giraffes can't swim, said Four. Giraffe didn't say anything. The zoo animals prepared for the big competition. Flamingo stretched, Yak jumped, Tortoise practiced his best running leap, and they all tried out their diving techniques. Boar landed with a plop. Lion was ready to make a big splash. Race time, called Seal. The animals stood in a row, ready and waiting for the signal. On your mark, get set, go. The animals dashed toward the water in a flurry of sand and seaweed. Polar Bear led the way. Tiger was a close second. Peacock's feathers fluttered as she ran. Faster and faster the animal swam, but no one could catch up to Crocodile. His scaly legs splashed through the water. His swishy tail moved from side to side through the waves. Crocodile seemed sure to win until... Oh no! Where's the bottom? I can't reach the bottom. Help me! Help, help, help! Giraffe thought he heard a cry. He looked up, but he couldn't see anything. He took off his sunglasses and stood, stretching his neck up high. Then he saw two scaly arms waving and splashing furiously. Giraffe knew Crocodile was in trouble. He ran as fast as he could into the sea. Giraffe ran and ran, shells and seaweed splashing behind him. He ran past tapir, he sprinted past duck, he dashed past antelope. Help! Shouted Crocodile. Giraffe reached out with his long, lean neck. He grabbed Crocodile by the back of his bathing suit and pulled him out of the water. Giraffe carried Crocodile from the depths of the sea to the safety of the beach. The zoo animals unanimously agreed Giraffe was the winner of the race. Not only had he rescued Crocodile, but he really did get farthest into the sea. To this day, no one is really sure if Giraffe can swim, but since giraffes are clearly brave and heroic, the animals decided it didn't matter after all. This story was called The Race to the Beach. Our last story for today is called Beach Day. It was written by Karen Rusa and illustrated by Maggie Smith. Waves roar, rush and soar, rolling, crashing to the shore. Sparkling spray, jeweled array, water skiers on their way. Sandy knees, foaming seas, insects dancing in the breeze. Noon light shimmers bright, in the distance hot and white. Bat, ball, mitt, it's a hit, leaping, running, lickety-split. Voices chatter, sand pails clatter, off to lunch the children scatter. High clouds flurry, sand crabs scurry, hungry swimmers in a hurry. Chicken legs, deviled eggs, what a banquet seagulls beg. Waves lapping, babies napping, on the water sails are snapping. Launch a boat, help father float, build a castle with a moat. A freckled nose, sandy toes, ocean's salty sea breeze blows. Time to pack, picnic snack, bright beach towels in a stack. Late afternoon, supper soon, families march across the dune. Sun-warmed skin, contented grin, what a happy day it's been. The end. This story was called Beach Day. Thank you so much for joining me for week 2 of Elm City's virtual story time. We hope to see you at Elm City for our summer reading program this summer. Bye!